Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Shout out bros and keep my eyes in the sky, cause that's where I'm moving. Say they wanna read my mind.
What are you looking at me for? Bro, like, what else do you want me to say? I've literally been preaching the same exact thing for like a month or two, and look at the Wizards now. As in the making of this video, the Wizards have a record of 6-11. That puts them at the 10th seed in the East. Yikes! That's a problem. There is no reason why the Charlotte Hornets, who are getting carried by Kemba Walker right now, should have a better record than the Wizards. There is no reason why the Brooklyn Nets, led by D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Karis LeVert, should have a better record. The Orlando Magic have even looked more promising than the Wizards so far. This whole thing is just a really awkward and uncomfortable situation because there is an internal issue. Nothing is wrong with their roster for the most part. On paper, they look good. They look good as hell. And as I stated in previous videos, this is the best group of players that they've put around their stars, Bradley Beal and John Wall. So since things aren't working out early into the season, they are looking to make a major move due to the internal problems with the team. Whatever is wrong with them has to be addressed and solved before it's too late. But what makes this issue even harder to solve is the lack of flexibility this organization has. There's a lot of thick contracts attached to several players, and of course that's a major turnoff to almost every other team in the NBA, especially when just about everyone is underperforming. So the Wizards are sort of pinned in a corner. They have a roster with talent, 2-star players, a good supporting cast, and also a respectable bench. This recipe isn't I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay, I got it. This mix of talent and personality isn't creating the recipe to success. Instead, they're kind of leaving a sour taste in your mouth. And sadly, what could be causing the pot to be so sour is one of the main ingredients, John Wall. Just a few days ago, prior to this one, I'm sure we've all heard the news. The Wizards have made it public that they're open to trading either John Wall or Bradley Beal, or maybe even both, in order to turn their season around. They're willing to do that just to turn their season around and have a clear direction as to where their organization is headed to in the future, of course. Now, earlier when I was on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, by the way, I saw that the Charlotte Hornets are actually interested in one of the two. And to be more specific, it's Bradley Beal. And in exchange for Beal, the Wizards would receive either Batum or Marvin Williams. And also, along with one of them, they'd receive Jeremy Lamb, Malik Monk, and the first rounder. Now, hey, that's a lot of pieces, I'm not gonna lie. But is Jeremy Lamb, Monk, Batum, or Marvin really worth Bradley Beal? Would the Wizards just magically dispel all of the chaos and dysfunction going on by just getting rid of them? I don't know. If you say you do know, you're lying, because that's a question none of us can answer, unless you're a part of the Washington Wizards yourself. All we can just do is assume, since none of us are a part of their locker room. But anyways, even if trading Beal to the Hornets does fix issues, shit, why not trade him somewhere else and get even more assets, instead of just throwing him away for a subpar return? Wait, hold up, okay, before we get into some of the moves that could be made for these guys, I have to address something first. Good lord, some of you Laker and Bron fans are some of the most impatient people on this entire planet. I'm not scared to admit it, alright? I'm a LeBron fan myself. I'm just a logical one though. Why the hell would the Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, want to trade for John Wall or Bradley Beal? Magic Johnson, in my opinion, has something way bigger and better planned. And that something has nothing to do with Bradley Beal. Don't get me wrong, alright? John Wall and Bradley Beal are one of the best players in the league. But the only way I can see Magic Johnson trading for one of those guys is if plan A, B, C, and D fail. Bradley Beal is more of a backup plan. Like I said earlier, Bradley is really nice, and he'd be literally the perfect player next to LeBron. But if they trade for Bradley Beal all of a sudden, then their plans for this offseason would be hindered, because Bradley Beal has a $25 million price tag attached to his name. They'd lose nearly all of their flexibility. So Bradley Beal ain't the move for LA, and John Wall definitely isn't the move either. Unless literally all of their plans for this summer go south, then yeah, they'd probably think about it. But until further notice, the Lakers and Bradley Beal have no business being in the same sentence together at all. So now that I got the Lakers out of the picture, who could and probably should make a move for Bradley Beal or John Wall? The New Orleans Pelicans have been struggling so far this year as expected. They aren't bad, but they aren't too great either. With how this team is built right now, I don't think they're guaranteed to have a playoff spot unless they make a move for an elite star wing player. This is the part where Bradley Beal comes in. A big three of Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, and Drew Holiday could definitely help take this team to the next level. One huge liability that the Pelicans have had for the last several years is the lack of good perimeter talent. Now Bradley Beal could potentially fill in this void. Let me know how this trade idea sounds. Whenever you do trades in the NBA, you have to make it work financially, and you also have to make sure it benefits both teams. So the Pelicans could offer Nikola Mirotic, Solomon Hill, and a first round pick. Yikes! That didn't sound as right as I thought. When I thought about it, it sounded good, but when I actually said it, that trade sounded horrible. Damn. Well, actually, I don't think it's too bad. Solomon Hill's contract ends next year and Nikola Mirotic's ends this year. So that's a load of money they get to free up, and they also get a first round pick. But being real though, that trade may not be too enticing for the Wizards. But it's okay. You know why? Because I got another trade idea. And it includes the Philadelphia 76ers. Some of y'all already know what I'm about to say. You feel it, and you already know who's involved in it. Markelle Fultz, it sucks. It really does suck, but his time has come. He has not been as good as some thought he would be this year. After they decided to shut him down pretty much for the entire season last year, throughout the entire summer, he had all the time in the world to get his body and shot right, so he can give Simmons and Embiid the dear help that they need. Oh, and funny while I'm making this video, just a few minutes before this video, multiple reports came out saying that Fultz has some type of wrist injury and his shoulder is still screwed. And along with that report, it also stated that he would prefer to move on to a different team. He wants out of the Sixers. Okay, hold on. Real question. Does this vid still have to be about John Wall and Bradley Beal? I don't know. I'm gonna just do me and see where this entire thing goes. Okay, so since Markelle basically wants a fresh start, I guess the Sixers would like to search a new home for him. Before I mentioned Fultz wanting out, I think I said something about the 76ers putting a trade package together involving Fultz for Beal. Here is the issue though. Just how valuable is Fultz right now? I'm not sure, and really no one is too sure because of his health. I thought the dude was about to enter the season as healthy as possible, but as it turns out, he didn't. And even though his shot did get better, you cannot lie, it is still extremely suspect. While taking all that into consideration and thought, we have to assume that his trade value probably isn't too high. There is way too many questions about this man right here. Markelle is just creating smokescreen over this whole entire thing. He's been hiding something. That man has secrets, and he's been making everything very unclear. With that said, maybe, just maybe, a team like the Wizards would still be willing to take a chance on him. If the Wizards did want to though, then that means they would absolutely have to find a new home for John Wall as well. Anyways, here's the trade proposal I have in place. The Wizards give up Bradley Beal and the 76ers, of course, give up Fultz, Wilson Chandler, and a first rounder in return. Now at first, I know this trade may not seem too enticing, but hey, that 2021 Miami Heat pick that the Sixers have stashed has a lot more value than you probably think. It has a lot of value because Miami's future is not looking too hot right now, and also because the draft rules could potentially change, and that could lead to us having one of the deepest drafts that the NBA world has ever seen. If the 76ers really wanted that man Bradley Beal, then they'd give up that pick. So that's one team that could make an offer for Fultz. Another team is the Phoenix Suns. It feels like the Phoenix Suns have been searching for a point guard forever now. They have an opportunity to scoop one up now, and it's Fultz, of course. Right now the Suns have Isaiah Cannon and Booker running the point guard spot. Isaiah Cannon, look, listen here, he might be a cool dude and all that, but Isaiah Cannon is absolutely not the answer to that issue. And for Booker, even though he's shown us that he has the ability to play the one full time, I still feel like that cannot be the long-term solution. Fultz though, he potentially could be. I feel like Fultz being placed in a situation like that could help him a lot because he has no pressure, of course, due to his value not being oh so high. So the question is, what would the Suns give up? Mikal Bridges? Hell no. Josh Jackson? Nah. What about Trevor Ariza? I'd say definitely. Trevor would actually be a useful, valuable piece for the Sixers because of his 3-and-D ability. He's literally the perfect replacement for Robert Covington. He may not be as good of a defender as Rob, but offensively, to me, he's certainly better. Adding a player who can defend multiple positions and doesn't demand the ball in order to have a positive effect on the game would make the Sixers way better than they already are now. I can definitely see a trade like this happening later down the line. You know, once Ariza is actually eligible to be traded. Okay, anyways, back to the main focus of this video. My bad. The Washington Wizards. Now, I think I told you a few trade possibilities already. That could happen involving the 76ers and the Pelicans. Let's dive even deeper now. I have 5 more teams who should be in the conversation for Beal or Wall. One of them are the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have surprised a lot of people so far this season. Disclaimer, I'm just saying that if you've been watching my vids for a while now, you definitely should not be surprised by their play. Anyways, it could get even better by adding an all-star guard in Bradley Beal. Memphis is pretty good already, and they most likely will make the playoffs. But with the way that their roster is built right now, I don't think anyone takes them as serious championship contenders. Gasol is still really good, and Mike Conley is doing Mike Conley things. But something is missing though from their equation, and that's something that is missing is that one elite wing scorer. I feel like they need to add someone like that on their roster in order for them to be taken seriously and be viewed as a real threat. Luckily for them, Bradley Beal is on the market, and he fits the description perfectly. The Grizzlies could make an offer of Dylan Brooks, who is a great young player by the way. Chandler Parsons, ouch, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of crass. But that first round pick that they also have to offer would probably heal that wound a little bit. This trade is pretty fair in my eyes, considering the fact that Chandler Parsons is about to be a free agent next year, and the Wizards will be able to free up a lot of cap space. So on top of the cap space, they also get a nice young player and a first round pick. This trade right here should make everyone happy. Okay, we're done with Bradley. Now let's shift our focus to that man, John Wall. Before that though, I just want to say that trading John Wall is going to be super tough to do because his contract is bulky as hell. Dude is going to be owed $37, $40, $43, and $46 million over the next 4 years. And for a player like John Wall, I just don't think that's reasonable at all. So out of the two, Beal is way more likely to get traded. But you know, I am Mojo99 and I have a couple teams up my sleeve that could engage in trade talks for John Wall. The first 2 teams are in the Eastern Conference, and they involve the Indiana Pacers and Miami Heat. Now Miami, I don't know what the hell those dudes are up to. Are they gonna try to tank or are they gonna compete for a playoff spot? They have the talent to do both. If they do want to stay competitive, then they can make a move for John Wall. As I said, they're having a really confusing season so far, and they need an extra boost, a little to get him up this season. And that extra oof or could be John Wall. On to the Pacers. Look, they don't need John Wall at all, alright? But you know, the top of the East is slowly creating a gap from the rest of the East, including the Pacers. Philly just got Jimmy Butler. Toronto is damn near untouchable. And the C's? Yikes, I don't know what the C's are just yet. But if they figure it out, then they will be very scary as well. And I didn't even mention the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, Giannis, that dude has finally arrived. Adding Wall to their roster could give them a legit 1-2 punch consisting of Wall and Oladipo. And I feel like that will increase their chances of coming out of the East. Indy trading for Wall is definitely not a must, but you know, it'd still be nice. The other 2 teams that I have in mind that could trade for Wall stay in the Western Conference, and they are the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns. They're in this video again, yes. Utah has gotten off to a rocky start. Whatever they're doing right now just doesn't look right. So maybe, I doubt it, but maybe they look to trade away, I don't know, Dante Exum and Ricky Rubio for John Wall. And along with Wall, I can honestly see the Wizards to give up someone like Markelle Morris too. On to the Phoenix Suns now. They are obviously desperate for a point guard. I can see them offer up again Trevor Ariza and Josh Jackson if they really wanted to get Wall. Long term, I feel like Mikal Bridges will be the forward for the Suns, so I don't think the loss of Josh Jackson would hurt much at all. Now, would Wall turn them into a playoff contender this year? Hell nah. But what about the year after that? Next year? I don't know if it's a guarantee, but they certainly have a great shot at it. So those are all my thoughts and feelings about the Wizards and what moves they can make in order to improve their situation. Now y'all, look, if the Wizards go on a little win streak, which they are fully capable of doing, then you know, I think they'd cancel all the trade talk. But if they don't go on a streak and continue to lose like this throughout the year and still find themselves below the Nets and the Orlando Magic in the standings, then they're most definitely gonna trade either Beal, Wall, and others to possibly one of the teams that I just stated in this video. Anyways, this is the end of the video, man. Before I forget, if you want one of these nice, crispy, sexy hoodies, click this little eye thing right here. And go ahead and cop one yourself too. Get sexy, just like me. Anyways, I really do appreciate you for spending your precious time watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with all your other NBA friends. And I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the surf, free the way, so my girl, who'd ever